Hello, Stephan.
Hi,
On your
Steph.
birthday, we have come up with a little epic story of your conception, the travails of pregnancy, and your birth. This may be news for you, may be exciting, it may be terribly embarrassing. So before we go further, I'd like to point out it was Alina's idea.
Of course.
Now, part
My
one.
fault.
The conception. We were on the set of an independent film named Strong Medicine. It was Alina's debut.
In American movie
In
as
American
a movie
movies.
star. Ha ha ha.
The director was Richard Foreman, who actually had just finished directing Three Penny Opera on Broadway. Little did we know he was also, for 10 years, a very experimental theater director for the Hysterical Ontological Theater Company. Ended up winning several Obies over his life. And anyway, picture yourself. It is a hot and humid day in Manhattan,
August
August 14,
78.
1978. Alina, dressed as an angel of death, utters the immortal lines,
With
working with Carol Kane, by the way.
yes. Immortal line was lady was so frightened that she shat her pants.
I think I'll scream, maybe.
Look behind me.
I didn't scream. I just said I would.
Making all that noise attracted some very special people.
The young lady was so frightened. She shat in her pants, I think.
Right. I guess so.
May I add? I didn't speak English yet. And I learned this phrase very hard, and I did very good, actually.
And now, part two. That same night, we
No,
go
no,
back to...
Apollo post.
Oh.
Yeah. That's all spell.
Okay.
Spell.
Alina, in between takes, because you never get to do it with one take, was underneath a poster of Apollo.
Naked. Totally.
And
Frontal.
and it cast a spell upon her.
It must be because by any calculation, any ideas, I don't supposed to get pregnant. But
You're getting into part two. That
no,
night,
yeah.
it was in Smithtown. We had taken the train back. It was there, warm and balmy,
Oh
actually.
gosh, hot and balmy.
Uh-huh.
Wet.
And we
Liquid.
were staying in the basement, which you know, in a small room, which you probably know,
Mattress.
with a
on the floor.
mattress on the floor, because Alina always had mattresses on the floor in those days.
And you don't need to go into details, okay?
Anyway,
But that was-
calculations being what it is, the woman...
That was the only day which I could get pregnant. Okay, on the day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we go to part two, the pregnancy. Now, the first inkling was a week or two later, actually. We are in Brooklyn, and we are visiting Marisha Latao's aunt, who was a witch. And by the way, she was the original inspiration for the witch in White Dragon. She still is in the book. Anyway.
Well, Marisha's aunt, who is hiding from the people because she could predict, she could see actually what would happen to person, which was for her horrifying, including that she was Jewish and she survived World War II in Poland. And he has this house in Queens and almost never
I
came
thought it was
out.
Brooklyn, but maybe in Queens.
No, I think it was Queens, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, so I'm there.
Well, she hasn't to look you in the eyes, though.
Yeah, and she's coming to me and saying, could you take off your glasses for a moment? At that time I was wearing glasses non-stop. Can you take your glasses for a moment? I took off glasses. She looked at me and said, I hope you like kids. And I said, well, yeah, maybe, yeah.
She was a
I'm
little
not
more
planning-
horrified than that, actually.
Not planning anything, but yeah. She said, well, in 9 months you will have this beautiful blonde boy. You better get used to this thought of kids.
And,
You-
and what else did she say? He will bring you luck.
Yes, he will bring me luck. Which is repeated after Gypsy, which years before told me the same. But anyway,
Without the timeline, though.
yeah.
Now, but Alina, I should point out, when we left, she's going, it's nice that the lady thinks of
Yeah,
all this
yeah.
kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah.
folk.
Yeah.
But
Didn't take
now,
her seriously.
the second inkling, I think, might have been the same day or
No, it was exactly a few days later.
a few days
2
later.
weeks
Okay,
after
so
Gypsy.
we went into Manhattan, and there was this once very famous Polish actress, Elżbieta Czyżewska.
Star.
Actually, she was still performing.
She was a movie star.
She was a
Poland.
movie star.
Yeah.
And we actually saw her at the Kennedy Center in a Tom Stoppard play. So
Mm-hmm.
she was still working in America, too.
Yeah. And she was wife of this.
She was wife of a famous New York Times
journalist.
journalist. They were divorced by that time. And she had this very cheap apartment in the center of Manhattan. Right now, it'd be worth like $5 million. But anyway,
Yeah.
she invited us, and she had even a patio. And we had the most atrocious rice pilaf dinner you've
Yeah.
ever heard of. Alina's thinking, a Polish woman, I'll get some Polish food, because of course the Fleets didn't make that.
No, brown rice.
Wow.
Arsenic City, yes.
Okay, so what started to happen? And this is the third inkling. 2 weeks later, Alina she started feeling nauseous almost
right after the
right after
dinner.
that. And I
Yeah.
will point out I did too. But 2 weeks later,
He
Alina
was
is still
pregnant
nauseous.
too.
No, yeah. Alina's still nauseous. And she goes, that damn rice pilaf, that damn rice pilaf. I'm going, Alina, I'm thinking, looking at calendars and all that, I'm thinking it's
The
not rice
calendar
pilaf.
was okay.
But anyway, somehow or
Travel
other.
from continent to continent, screw it.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about the last time we'd had sex.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
but the last time we have sex, the only time we had sex in
Yeah,
the
for a
summer,
while, yeah.
it was exactly calendar-wise fine, but I didn't take under consideration that when woman changes continent, hormonal stuff gets zapped. Okay?
Bottom line is, and you know how hard-headed Alina is, I finally got her to go. We didn't have a doctor's or even insurance, but we
And
got the
money.
quote rabbit test. And guess what? She was pregnant.
Oh my God.
No.
His dad was great. He was the first one who was very happy and congratulated me.
My dad was happy.
Yeah,
Yes.
very happy. Yeah.
And by the way, your name had already been picked out.
Yeah.
At the day of our wedding, I don't know how it worked out, but really I was cornered by Alina with her mom and dad standing behind, but her mom mainly. And Alina said, and so we're going to name our son after my grandfather, my mother's father, Stephan. Okay, and the middle name can be after you or your father, Robert. And then she said, and my dad, they're not going to be any more Spocks, so can he be Szpak-Fleet? Sure.
Yeah.
So you were already decided, except we didn't know if you were
We
going to be a
didn't
boy or
know.
girl. If you'd been a girl, you would have been Alexandra.
Alexandra
Yeah.
Szpak-Fleet, yeah.
And then after my mom, Alexandra, not Joan, probably Maria, because that was my mom's.
Yeah.
Or Irena. No, we would
No,
have
no,
to do
your
from
mom, yeah.
would have to be political. Anyway,
Yeah.
we never had to worry about that. Now, Alina's pregnancy, you kicking around in there, was a trial by fire. It started perhaps, well, first of all, she wasn't eating at all, but
Throwing
we
up.
decided to have a second marriage because we had been married on December 2nd, 1970,
9,
70,
70,
77.
77.
And now we were
Poland.
going to get married on December 2nd, 1978, in a Catholic church for
Smith.
my parents. Well, the problem was that we didn't have a lot of people there, and as it turns out, except for my parents.
No, but it
None
was
of them were Catholic.
including you, our witnesses.
Yeah, including our witnesses.
Well,
the maid of
they're
honor was Jewish,
Jewish,
and the
Lyle
best man was
yeah.
a Presbyterian.
Okay.
But
Anyway.
no, I should point out that we had been going with another priest.
May I say,
Go ahead.
yeah. Okay, we were going with another priest who knew everything about me, etc. He was from Scotland, but
No, he was not. He was from Portugal.
whatever he was. But
Father
anyway,
Ponti.
oh, yeah, that's right. But anyway, he was not available this day for some reason, so it was other priest. So there was some fun because again, I almost didn't speak English or spoke very broken English. So when priest said,
Would you take this man for good or bad?
I said, I will take this man for good and bad. Okay, so of course people laugh.
But now
Then-
let's get to why it would have been happy if there'd been some Catholics there, other than my mother and father, who were not going to go to communion. So
we
he
are
prepared
sitting we're sitting on the
on the altar up at
on the altar,
at the altar,
on the altar.
So
We filled up.
they
huge
filled up a glass of wine
wine.
because everybody was drinking wine out of the cup then, and a lot of hosts. Well, he has to eat all the hosts, but he comes to us, and the first thing he says is,
No, did you drink? And he
you drink?
is quietly telling me, you need to finish this wine, otherwise I cannot clean the chalice, whatever
so
it was.
Alina drinks.
Bloom, 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 bloom.
So-
Considering that I didn't eat anything this day.
You couldn't eat
because
anything still.
I couldn't. I was throwing up nonstop. So I got very drunk immediately. And to boot, I was in the high heels, okay? And already 4 months pregnant.
It was not showing.
Yeah, not
yet.
showing. So I'm telling Robert, I'm drunk. Take me, hold me when I'm going down the steps.
Let's be honest, as
Yeah.
she was walking on, I thought I was going to lose my arm. She was gripping it so tight.
Yeah.
Oh, I do have to say one thing. One person who was there was Elżbieta. What's his?
Martynia.
No, yeah, Elżbieta Martynia. She
Martynia,
wasn't married
yeah.
yet. Dick, she didn't know Dick yet.
Yeah.
So that was there.
Yeah.
Well, that was the first thing. Now, the
Yeah.
second thing is, we had already agreed with a guy named Wojtek something or other, who is, anyway, he had bought a loft in the edge of Greenwich Village.
Yeah.
And the basement he wanted
Was
to make
some-
into a theater
it was
for his own
some
stuff.
Photo studio in the basement.
And he said, if you convert it, you can use it. Which,
And-
by the way, we later did our film Unveiling.
Unveiling.
But-
Video. First video. Gosh.
Of course, Alina sort of underestimated when we agreed to this how bad it was going to be as she's getting bigger and bigger. But I'm doing it, and we're ripping down, all the board and all that. And we're putting it into big garbage things and putting them out on the sidewalk because that's where you would do it. Now, but this is winter. Snowy, and then when it warms, it's miserable. What happened is, as we were finishing, and we're getting quite a pile, I want to say there was a garbage strike. What it was is the garbage men wanted bribes
Yeah.
because they were only going to pick up one.
They
And
will not pick
Wojtek
up-
was-
They will not pick up any heavy stuff. Okay, that's it.
And this was heavy.
Yeah.
Now, meanwhile, the police, who apparently also wanted bribes, wanted to give Wojtek tickets. So he said, you've got to get this out of here because I can't afford all this thing. We were looking at a couple of $100 of tickets from both of them.
Yeah.
So we had what was called a compact car at the time, a Mercury Comet, which right now you could fit 2 cars in it. But the
5
better
families,
thing is,
yeah.
we also call it Żabka car because the back springs had broken. I bought this. It had standard.
Doesn't
And the
matter.
guy who put it in put these huge things. So the back was standing up.
Yeah.
So,
anyway.
and the trunk was enough to put in 5 bodies.
Yeah.
So in the
more.
middle of this, a pouring, not even pouring rain, but drizzly night,
Grizzly night.
the roads are all snow and slush. We filled up our trunk, only half, we could only get half of it in there, and went looking around for a dumpster.
Yeah, big dumpster.
Now, we found a dumpster. And
Somebody
it's,
was renovating.
it's in
building.
front of a restaurant. And the first load, we just put it all in there. Let's go back. So we got the rest of them, put them in the trunk. We come back. We pull in
I will tell. Robert is taking this heavy,
the first one,
the first one, bucket or whatever it was,
big bag.
bag, and it's going slowly to this dumpster, not very far, when suddenly we are surrounded by sound and cars of police. and is screaming. Robert Fries.
And a woman comes running out.
Woman running out from restaurant. They're shooting. Police with pistols around us, between our
There was
car.
a robbery going on. Armed
Our
robbery
car
inside
is
of
our car is sort of
Wedged.
and I am saying quietly in my broken English, Robush, I think you're supposed to come back. And Robert is turning like slow motion, going back.
between policemen with guns.
Between
And other
policemen,
people running out screaming.
Yes, and then he manages to get out, of course, destroying tail
Thank
lights
God,
of
thank
the
God they were on. Yeah, anyway.
police car, but we then spit out and went.
And we ended up driving around for 30 minutes to find an empty
Another
dumpster
dumpster,
somewhere.
yes. So,
All right, so we got through that,
excursion.
and obviously we did finish the loft and did our first thing called unveiling.
Yeah,
But
but
now,
that was later when you already.
we also tried to be good parents for doing this. So we took Lamaze classes, which is a method of helping a woman give birth, and the husband will be there.
Mainly, it's a breathing technique. They were teaching.
Yeah, it was 4 or 6
Yeah.
weeks. But it was really annoying because, first of all, everyone else there had already had 1 or 2 babies.
And they said that, like, they have baby like in the on
honestly,
the way to hospital.
honestly,
on the step,
by
in
the
car.
time,
Yeah.
by the time we finished it, there were only like
Yeah, all
3 of
very
us
good.
left. The other 8 had already dropped their kids. You know, it's like, you.
That's okay.
But Alita practiced breathing.
Yeah, so I was practicing. That's important moment later, yeah.
I should point out, I don't know if you ever know this, but sometimes Alina challenges the gods. I don't know what she did, but she started to have, and there was the original Dr. Spock had a great book on pregnancy and childbirth. There were all these lists of things that you have to be careful of when you're pregnant. Well,
did
not
them
being
all.
able to eat
Proudly.
proudly.
In
Elena seemed to find every possible one to get and do wrong. Completing, falling down the stairs.
Remember Smith downstairs to the basement, how
Steep?
steep they were? Yeah,
Vroom,
I
vroom, vroom, vroom,
drove with my belly already big drove there. Okay.
But the kicker was really about a week before she went back to Poland because she was going to
Wait.
go with.
I would like to only notice that there was some positive about that experience because I learned about American marketing. Because moment when I did rabbit test,
Oh yeah, way
I
back.
started to get 50 prospect advertisement, whatever, baby stuff. They
Pampers
already knew
and
it.
stuff, yeah.
We didn't need to have internet for them to knew it. Okay?
Oh gosh, yeah.
There, and I said, "Oh my, that's what you do."
Actually, those
Marketing,
coupons got
yeah.
us through the first year.
Yeah, marketing,
Yeah,
mail marketing at that time.
Yeah.
Big stuff. Anyway,
Anyway, so the best thing though that she did was about a week or 2 before going back to Poland, and then I would follow her.
I needed to go back to Poland. We didn't have insurance, we didn't have money for delivery in America, including that I needed to have a
Cardiac.
cardiologist near me in the delivery room, just in case, because I really didn't supposed to have kids, okay? So we decided to go to Poland, okay. I
So
went.
into a chair like this, almost exactly. Oh, by the way, remember all the fleet guys are there.
Yeah.
All these athletes and all that. Without thinking, very big Alina's used to sit back heavily. Well, she sits back heavily right onto a softball,
Yeah.
right on her tailbone.
It was
and
not softball.
yeah, it was not a softball, and it fractured her tailbone.
Yep,
So all we could do is bind her up because there's really no cast or anything.
nothing, yeah. Anyway, we lied to airlines because you really don't supposed to fly after 6 months because
yeah.
they're scared. And I was already 8 months
But
pregnant.
fortunately, it was winter, so she had a lot of coats on, so they couldn't
Yeah.
really tell if it was a leopard.
So-
Oh, she was wearing one of her almost cape things.
Yeah, cape.
Yeah, actually, you were wearing
yeah,
a cape,
yeah.
so they couldn't tell.
So they couldn't tell, and I was on the airplane with this belly. now I need to tell what happened. So I'm arriving in Warsaw, and I'm going, and yes, I was huge. And I'm getting out, and I'm going, and about 7 of my friends, including Kat Pozyna, which was a very big guy, actually also a witness of our marriage in Warsaw, they look at me, and they get hilarious laughter, okay? And they're rolling from laughter. They never imagined I would be
Plus, you
looking
had
like
a
I
poodle
was.
perm
Yeah, I had poodle perm.
because
yeah.
you decided it would be a good idea not. But
Poodle perm with the one part which didn't want to curl. So
they just look at it. They
I
didn't think you were
look
real,
good.
actually.
Yes. And Puzina said something like he had two nice moments of telling, stuff. He said, Alina, you need third leg like airplane has in front, which I really didn't need it, okay? So anyway, that was fun.
But now, in those
Yeah.
days, it was very hard to make telephone calls. Also, we had to make appointments.
Impossible.
So I was waiting, and fortunately, her mom had actually made an appointment to call based on when the plane was going
Yeah.
to arrive.
Yeah.
I told you Alina was nauseous the whole time. We literally had one time she was just crying in the car because she couldn't get food that you could eat in America.
Yeah. Yeah.
The first thing she says when I answer the phone
I
is,
thought in America that I'm throwing up because American food, I'm not used to it,
Yeah.
okay? So, yeah, first thing
I hear on the
which was
phone, she goes,
true.
Babush, my Polish food has betrayed me.
I was throwing up Polish food even more
She
than
was still throwing up. So, now I get to arrive in Poland 2 weeks
Yeah.
later. One thing we knew was they actually did not have Pampers in Poland. They just used,
Well, there
cloth
was,
diapers.
there was no Pampers, no ultrasound, no...
yeah, but this is the Pampers
nothing.
store.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, Pampers
So,
store, yeah.
Actually the exact same steamer, crappy Walgreens $19 trunk that looks like a steamer trunk that we came to
Yeah.
California in. I bought a ton of newborn Pampers. I mean, so many that I had to sit on it, compress air, sit again, Finally had one of my brothers sit, and I closed it. Okay, that's fine. It's actually rather heavy, but fine. We get to Poland. And by the way, this is the old communist days or socialist days.
Yeah.
And it's also April, so there's no tourists. There weren't tourists a lot
They were
anyway.
obnoxious like right now, TSA. is
Yeah, well,
obnoxious,
there's
yeah.
custom guy comes.
Yeah.
And he sees that I've been to Poland several times. He goes, what's this? And then he goes to the trunk, said, open it. I get, oh, no, proszę pan, nie chcę.
I don't know.
Oh, proszę. Open it. Okay, I open it. Now the air starts coming in. Now the top starts rising on its own. Now Pampers filled start popping out of the thing. What? Someone has to explain. A female custom agent explains to him what it is. He says, oh, just get it out of here. Of course, now how do I get it out? It's not that easy. It took me, anyway, we got through there. So
Okay.
we get to Alina. And really the
So-
next day or so,
No, I supposed to deliver you...
oh no, we go to the doctor. That's what it's what.
Yeah, I would.
The day
Doctor,
she went to the
May
doctor,
I finish? What?
it's on here, it says what the doctor tells you.
Which doctor?
On April 24th.
No, earlier we were at dentist.
Oh,
And I
well.
was walking up 5 stairs, and I think that's all because you're supposed to come 2 weeks later, okay? Definitely. We arranged Polish University Clinic, actually Medical Academy Clinic, which was maybe not the most comfortable hospital, very old, very not luxurious, but there was the best doctors and cardiologists too. And we gave humongous bribe to one doctor, that was on 24th, 25,000 zlotys, which was like half a year's salary for average person.
Yeah, because the black market at that time
Yeah.
was only 100 to the
Yeah,
dollar.
for us it was cheap. So anyway, he supposed to allowed me being in special room with Robert with me, okay? Because in America already husband could be with the wife, and in Poland, of course, who would think about such an idiocy, wife wanted to rest from men.
But you're jumping ahead right now, Lena,
Yeah.
because that same day he, or whoever we saw, said, you got 2 weeks to go.
2
So
weeks to
Alina
go,
doesn't
yeah.
worry. So
Yeah.
that night, April 24th, we were in Nowe Miasto. Alina still had the
Yeah.
apartment there. We fixed up a whole room nice for, when our child is born and all. We still didn't know if it's going to be a boy or a girl because we didn't want to know.
We couldn't.
No, they could have. They could have told by the ultrasound by then.
They didn't have ultrasounds.
But we
Robert.
could
They
have
never
paid in
had.
America.
No, in America they didn't have. Or maybe they did, but I never did. And they're on the amniotic fluid. They
Yeah,
don't.
anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we go to right on the corner where we're now is restaurant
Bruta. Yeah.
It was just a really bad spaghetti restaurant, but we had it.
Yeah.
Well, you get till all night, and again, it's hard to tell because I was sort of nauseous from it too. It just wasn't very good.
I feel bad.
Alina
I feel
feels bad, and she's and at a certain point, because Alina's really sort of stupid about this, I start to point out,
Well,
Alina,
how can I can be smart? It was my first baby.
yeah, well, that might be. I mean, I'm the eldest.
He had mother was.
I got to be
Five
very
of them, yeah.
well observing Jim and Doug. Yeah, I say, Alina,
He
how
didn't
come
look at
you?
Terry
How come you're
at all.
feeling pain every 60 minutes, and now it's 40 minutes?
No,
And
I
now
was
it's 30
actually-
minutes.
I was actually at one point I was in constant horrific pain. Okay.
So anyway, about
But I didn't want to wake up my mom.
wait a minute, by 3 a.m. she knew she was in labor.
I didn't. He knew.
I knew.
I didn't know.
Alina, you know your mother.
Yeah.
Trying to convince her when she's saying no
It's
is
impossible.
why she's married to me, because
But
she would kill you.
Let
I
me
mean,
tell right now
Okay.
my road to the hospital. So first of all, I didn't want to wake up my mother before 8 o'clock.
God forbid we make it
forbid
Szpak-Fleet
she get
upset.
nervous and something. So I was waiting. Pain was horrific, but I'm patient with pain. Thank God I have very big tolerance of that. And so then she was coming, but I knew already, because some girlfriends already told me, that I need to take a lot of 100 zlotys bills and bribe everybody for everything in the hospital, every nurse. So yes, first I arrived to hospital, they took me in. First thing, they wanted to do fleet enema. Enema. $100, I don't want
For
enema.
the record,
Okay.
there is a famous enema that used to be the standard, called
Fleet.
made by a corporation called Fleet. And
Yeah.
It was Fleet enema.
But anyway, so $100, 100 zlotys, I don't need that. Okay. So I'm going to this delivery room and hoping that Robert will come. But they are not letting Robert in. Okay. I'm like, room was like this, big room. Here is some lady delivering, I think, 2 weeks already. Across this lady who is delivering and cursing her husband. Some bed is empty, and I'm in the middle here, like on a, almost like they do dead bodies, cut up.
A gurney, yeah.
Gurney, yeah. And I'm laying down, I'm observing, and doctors are running in and out. We will.
I
Because my
actually went to
doctor
the embassy,
disappeared.
U.S. embassy, trying to
Yeah.
get forced in. Yeah.
First, we cannot let your husband in. We never do husband. Husband cannot be here. And then he went to embassy.
Actually,
embassy
consulate, sorry.
called, consulate. They called. Hysterical doctor is running in. Alina, Miss Alina, I beg you, we cannot have American in this bordello. Okay? Now, he was right. Because meantime, I'm laying down, trying to do my lamas, and, pain but fine. Cat is coming, going to the corner and start delivering kittens, okay? Then, it is bordello.
It gets better.
Then suddenly guy in full, dirty overalls is coming and banging and repairing sink in the corner. I'm doing...
That's the Lamaze breathing
Lamaze
technique.
breathing. When lady is coming, doctor from behind, they were sitting and smoking there, behind the room, and said, stop breathing that fast like an idiot. Breathe deeply. Okay. And I said, okay, maybe it's better that Robert is not here, okay? And then, then there was a scandal because they called actually cardiologist too late. She screamed bloody hell because I supposed to have this, which they not majority of women had totally natural birth, and I was okay with that. But I supposed to not to have that heavy level of pain. Okay, and my pain was pretty good because you manage being very alive inside, and to the point that I remember on some rehearsal in Manhattan.
Oh my God, your foot
Suddenly
practically stuck
legs
out.
sticking out and jumping. It was very funny. But anyway, you managed to wrap yourself 3 times with a umbilical cord. And it was very big danger that it will kill you. So they were very in really panic, considering cesarean section, etc. But cesarean section with my heart, all kind of shit. When the stocky guy, very peasant looking, like Polish guy, is coming to me and whispering, Miss Alina, my mother is what is this, midwife?
Was a
Yeah,
midwife.
my mother is midwife in our village, and she knows how to do it, so baby will be born. I will do that, but don't tell anybody, don't react to it. And what he did, he took his forearm, almost like your brother Terry.
Yeah.
Huge hand.
Like from all the posters of strong Soviet men.
Did from other side, but did like this. And you get out.
Popped out. And they unwrapped your neck.
Yeah, they unwrapped neck. Your lead bit were losing breath, but they give you some shot. It was fine. And then almost immediately they show to me, and you make face like, I think I want to go back. Okay. Didn't like the what was going on. And then I had really funny moment, because there was 2 young guys, because there was university, so there was a lot of young doctor students, 2 young guys in my crotch, 2 heads, giggling like crazy, sewing my cat. And
You forgot that they have to cut to make it easier for
they
them.
know that. They know.
Well,
that.
they didn't do that for Evelina.
Well, because they are right now cheap.
Okay.
They don't want to have surgeon sewing stuff.
Okay, anyway, they're giggling.
It's very dangerous actually for women what they are doing here. But anyway, they were giggling like crazy. So I'm laying down. I feel fantastic. Apropos, my nose showing out. Right away, 2 bribes. Please bring me to dinner.
Yes, that was Evelina's, to be honest. The first thing she
Anyway.
said when she called is, I can eat again.
Yeah.
She didn't say how you were, I can eat again.
Anyway, they're giggling, and I said, why are you giggling so much? What's so funny? I said, well, we're repairing your way that you will be the best ever, okay? Plastic surgery of Queen. I said, okay, then give me your business card and I will tell all my friends what you're doing. Anyway, it was funny. They brought me the dinners, I ate, and then first thing, I went to shower. Oh my God. I thought that I would take shower, because you feel actually very good after delivery. But tired and sweaty, whatever. And I'm opening door, and it's beautiful, because it's a very old historical building. Beautiful bathroom, like we had in Monterey.
Yeah.
Except twice as
Pacific
big
Grove, actually.
Pacific Grove, 3 times bigger, with this antique, wonderful bathtub on the lion legs, this height. There's no way women after delivery can get that. So I went to Rome. They brought you to me. We started the breastfeeding procedure, etc. And then I want to go home because I feel fantastic. Everything is fine. You are fine. They check you with everything, and they're surprised. They are totally surprised. 2 shocks. First shock, lady is coming to me and saying, oh, it's very expensive. We normally don't do anybody, but you are from America, so it will be nice to you. We'll give you shots so you will lose your milk. I said, what? Why? Anyway, that was one shock for them.
It used to be that they really pushed bottle feeding, mainly because
idiotic. That's why you have so many overweight people in America. Yeah. But anyway,
overweight and undernourished.
Undernourished, overweight, yeah. And anyway, I wanted to go home, and they couldn't understand, because every woman at that time in Poland wanted to be in hospital, if possible, 2 weeks with the baby. Because it means she doesn't need to cook, she doesn't need to work, she doesn't need to care for husband, and other kids. So there was funny thing because communication was such that there was window, and at the bottom of the window men were standing, remember? And they were showing letters, paper, and they were sending, I sent you letters, bribe, $100 bribe, send letters to Robert, what's going on. Anyway, I managed to get next day home, and it started, now you can tell what happened to you.
As it happens...
On the way you saw him
Well,
first.
no, this is the epilogue now, because you're born.
Yeah.
Technically, we could stop now. But on the very next day, April 26th...
No, tell about how you saw him
I
first
am!
time.
Alina,
When I went from the hospital.
I am about to.
That's not next day.
It was the next day. They didn't let you out that day.
Oh, yeah, next day of delivery.
They did make
yeah.
you stay overnight.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
yeah,
logical.
They made,
They thought you wanted to stay a week.
Yeah.
Or should stay a week, because the women didn't really want to go back home
I
and be
already told
housewives.
that.
Anyway, my first sight, I didn't know that they swaddled you. So you will see a picture now, and my entire view of you was just basically your nose.
Yeah.
But you was very cute nose.
Cute nose. Yeah.
Cute nose, didn't he? And then we went home. Now, Alina and her mother had set up this beautiful little room for you with a nice cradle and a table.
Bassinet, not cradle.
Was it a bassinet?
A bassinet.
Bassinet. Which, by the way, later on, you shared with puppies because
Yeah.
Dushka, Szpak-Fleet's dog, had puppies.
Dushka desperately wanted to feed you, to breastfeed you, but I didn't allow her.
Anyway, the point was Alina had never used Pampers before. I don't think she'd ever done diapers before either, had you? No. Okay, so I was going to show her. So Alina and her mother carefully laid you down on this thing, took off your swaddling clothes. I approached, and then you proceeded to do a shoosh 5 feet across the air right on my shirt.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I had fun.
Yes, she did, as a matter of fact. Didn't make her know how to do it any better, but you never did it to her. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so after that, we had some of our nice things. Weather, by the way, almost immediately had been very cold up until those 2 days, and then it got very hot.
Yeah, a few days.
So we had gotten, in Poland, very beautiful Austrian carriage that had little windows on the side and everything.
White with the windows in front and inside, plastic windows, but you lay down on your belly and you could actually see what's going on, so that was nice.
But this got Alina in a little trouble because people were saying, how come you're pushing that baby around and he's not on his clothes? They wanted you to be lying flat.
You know what, it was really funny because it was so hot that you were just naked in the Pampers, because why otherwise?
Yeah, it was really hot.
Yeah, and women were like, and their babies was like wrapped in a, I swear, fur coat. And I was saying, why do you do that to your baby? It's much faster to put in the oven and bake it
That's true.
at home.
And I
I
got in trouble because when I was taking you around, I had my song. I'd be going, okay, the old ladies, you may remember this, used to come on the
Warsaw old
weekends
ladies,
and Warsaw old ladies from the countryside and sell jagoda. So I'd go, dziecko na sprzedaż,
Yeah.
dziecko
You
na
keep it
sprzedaż.
here.
Bardzo, no, this is in the carriage. Bardzo nowy, niedrogi, dziecko na sprzedaż. They didn't have a sense of
Really
humor, I should
broken
point out.
Polish.
Anyway, and meanwhile, you're sitting, and they could see, because we had a little window on the side, like Alina said, you looked like angry Khrushchev,
Yeah.
baby Khrushchev. And Alina, and her mom are trying to go, who does he take after?
Well, Szpak-Fleet.
Yeah.
Never smile.
Oh, yeah, who
in
never
life.
smiled? Angry Szpak-Fleet. But anyway, now here's the funny thing. We sent out invitations to your baptism to
Which
everyone
was
we knew.
only a few days after you were born, because Robert needed to go back to America.
Yeah, because I could only stay for a month. Visas, actually, they weren't going to. Family
Very
didn't count very much, and we
yeah.
had no official reason for being there. Family didn't count.
Yeah.
But we print up these really nice things
Oh,
because they.
just not mention, I couldn't go back with you because you needed to have repaired feet, which was our big mistake because we found a better doctor in America. But we were afraid that we don't have money, and you had feet which were a little bit curved.
Monkey
and we
paw.
needed to-
Okay,
yeah,
like in your hand,
yeah,
you have muscles. Well, the feet are actually vestigial hands, and so it's like you always would have a
Yeah.
fist. But that's another story. That's much
yeah,
later.
no.
That'll be for
But
another
I was
birthday.
staying in Warsaw. That's why I was staying in Warsaw. He needed to
Yeah.
go. So,
And anyway, so we sent out these invitations to everyone. Well, we're coming back one of these hot days, and who should be there? Playing a guitar in the courtyard. We were in Nowe Miasto, by the way. Charles Cavett, who you know from Brothers of the Wilderness and from White Dragon, you know.
and
we-
Tom, he was visiting.
and he visited us several
Yeah.
times. Yeah.
With his
And then
wife,
we go,
right?
well, like Alina said, why did he go? Because people aren't, actors aren't people.
No.
No.
Tom Stoppard said, actors, we are opposite of people.
Anyway, he came,
Yeah.
so he stayed with us. People were going crazy and all that. I had a ta-da moment where I was holding you in my hands to show that how strong you are and how light you are,
Yeah.
which again scandalized everybody there.
Yes, of course.
And then it was about, did you say 10 days when we had to get you
Yeah,
ready?
exactly
Okay.
10 days. Right before Robert was going, we went to consulate to get you a passport.
Why, you ask? Because
Well,
your mother had no
No
citizenship.
citizenship.
She was not dis.
Nansen passport.
Yeah,
There was,
a displaced
agreement.
person because
Agreement from Norway before war.
whatever.
that
Anyway,
we can have that.
so in Poland, you couldn't. They didn't have like we have here natural birthright, which Trump is trying to take away. You had to
You
be a
need
citizen. or not.
minimum one parent supposed to be citizen, and you didn't have parents.
So we
Right now it changed.
Yeah.
Okay.
we went to the American consulate. Who knew us because we've been going back and forth, you know.
Well, Robert once demanded to them to give apartment because.
Oh yeah, because
Yeah. Well,
that was a different story.
Different story.
But so we had to get a passport. So we took a picture of you at 10 days old, and that became your passport photo till you were 5 years old, which was a lot of fun when we went back when you were 4 years old.
Well, he was not 4. I was traveling with him when he was 9 months old.
Well, 9 months old is
it
one
still
thing.
was not
But remember, we went back.
nothing like this photo.
We
You
went back in
kidding?
1984, and
Yeah,
he still,
it's
you know,
still-
he was almost 5 years old. No, Stefo.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, that is the story of your conception, the time inside of Alina's belly, and your
birthday.
then a little epilogue and all that. There's a lot of epilogue, obviously, but
Happy birthday,
happy birthday,
Stephan.
Stefan. So,
It was fun. It
Yes.
was wonderful time.
so because yes, we need to do this. You ready? 100 lat, 100 lat, niech żyje nam. 100 lat, niech żyje nam. I jeszcze raz, niech żyje nam. Niech żyje nam.
More?
No, let's stop here while,
Okay.
while we're ahead of the game. Happy birthday, Steph.
Happy birthday. Okay.
Bye.
Robert, cut.